Hi, my name is Chris Dawes, Data Solutions Manager at Walt Ltd. And I want to take this opportunity to quickly launch our latest creation, vanwaltKISS. It is, we could call it telemetry, but I really think it's summed up better by calling it a telemetered logger. And I'm going to explain why, and I'm going to position it really quickly as we go through a short presentation and a demonstration of the technology itself, including just how simple it is to deploy it. Title of this is Give Manual Groundwater Data Collection a vanwaltKISS Goodbye. Let's have a look and see what I mean by this. As I say, it is important that I position it to start with. So I want to start with the two ends of the spectrum. Manual loggers. We choose Level Scout 2X. That's what we provide to our customers and will continue to do so. There's a time and a place for it. The problem with them is that they are manual by their nature, which means it costs money and time to go and get the data, drive out, get the data from that one, move on to the next one, move on to the next one, and having to keep doing that time after time to get the data. There is, of course, an environmental impact to that as well. The whole idea of cars or vans driving around to every single borehole to get that data every time that you need it. There's also a risk that we have seen where there could be missed data. Something goes wrong with a logger that's put down. I don't know, maybe even as simple as it's not screwed together properly and you get water ingress. You go back 4 weeks later, just as an example, to withdraw the logger, get the data from it, and suddenly you find out 1 week into that 4 weeks, it stopped working, but you had no idea until you go back to it to extract it and find it and then resubmerge it and everything else. What about if it's hard to reach locations? I mean, we've got obvious examples such as brambles and nettles, but let's go to the extreme that we have many of our customers experiencing is where, boats are needing a lot of cross land that you can't drive across, helicopters even we've got, and restricted access locations. Latest one that I was working on was where it's on royal premises. And so you can't just go, right, I'm going to go out this afternoon and go and get that data. It needs a lot of planning. So that is an issue that you have with the manual loggers, which is why the whole world of telemetry, and we've got our own created telemetry solutions, the vanwalt DataHub and DataSlaves, where you have the DataHub that is in the picture you see in that side in that presentation, fully supported with a big solar panel on it. You can have multiple sensors coming off of it, registering all sorts of different types of data and weather stations. You can then have data slaves in line of sight further afield, strategically located, multiple slaves sending data back to the one data hub, and the data hub sends it to the vanwalt Connect portal. Brilliant solution, and there is a time and a place again for that. The problem is that's a big step up, both financially and technically. It's fantastic. It's open to all kinds of parameters. It has the ability to put alerts and alarms when levels are below or above certain levels. It can be live data. It can be automatically graphed in the portal. It is in depth, but what if our requirement is not as in depth as that to justify it? I don't need all of those parameters. I don't need alerts and alarms. I don't need it to become a graph. So many of our customers take that data and do what they need to do with that data, and you could well be the same. That is a massive gap that we wanted to address. Well, introducing vanwaltKISS. Where does the KISS name come from? It is Keep It Simple Sensing. It is a true all-in-one, affordable, plug-and-play water level and temperature telemetered logger, or telemetered, whichever way I'm supposed to say it. Also, it can add CTD to add conductivity to it as well, but that's where it focuses. That's where it stays. So therefore, this technology gives you focus parameters first and foremost. Water level, water temperature. As I said, we can replace the sensor on the bottom and add conductivity with a CTD sensor. The battery health and the battery signal, they can be monitored throughout this as well. So you will always know from your desktop or from your mobile device that your device is still alive and kicking. We're also able to preserve the health of the battery and minimize the transmission requirements. How do we do that? Well, we do log the data every 15 minutes. So your sensor in there, internally, it is logging it every 15 minutes. But we send it just once a day at 0800 UTC. That's it. It logs it all. It sends it early in the morning, and you then go to your portal and you download your data in a simple CSV file and do what you need to do with it thereafter. Doesn't need to be compensated because it's a vented cable on it already. So you don't need any Barrow Scout or anything like that. It does what it needs to do. Because of all this simplification, we've been able to squeeze it into a small brain. That in that photograph that you see just here, that's it. In fact, here it is right here. You know, that is the unit. Off the bottom of this, you've then got your cable with your sensor on the bottom fed down the well. And I'm going to show you that in more detail in a second. It makes it smaller. It makes it simpler. It makes it more cost effective. It can be tucked away inside your well caps and whatever else, whether it's flush or whether it's raised well caps. It doesn't need to be on display. It doesn't need to have a big solar panel to give away that something interesting is there. It was developed by Walt Ltd, and it's been manufactured to our specifications in the UK. It's easy to use and it is accurate. If to give you an idea, is that it's plus or minus 0.1 full scale with the standard sensor, and that goes to actually plus or minus 0.05% of full scale if you have the CTD sensor on it. So it is really accurate. It delivers that data cost effectively and securely. There are no hidden extras. It's not that we start piecing everything together. It comes with everything. It includes the sensor. It includes the vented cable, access to the data web portal that's secure. You can log in. And if you are the consultancy firm, you can have access to a whole load that are on different projects, and it will tell you which site or project it's on. And then you give access to your customer to the ones that's on their site or their project, but you can have oversight of all of them. But it's really simple, and there's no additional subscriptions for anything on this at all. It is easy to self-deploy. This is a key one that people are loving about this, is that unlike typical telemetry, where it does need, you know, multiple people, possibly multiple days to actually install the whole system, set up the network and the solar panel and get everything secured, etc., etc. This can be self-deployed, and I'll prove that in a minute and show you it. But a big one is that in bold there, redeployed as well. You suddenly decide that you've finished where it is, I want to use it somewhere else. You pick the unit up, you pull out the cable and the sensor, and you wind it up. You then walk or drive to your new borehole. You then feed the sensor back down, and you sit the well up on top of the pipe or next to it, whatever it's going to need to go. You can redeploy this unit, even though it comes under the telemetry banner, and it will fit in wells pipes with a minimum of 1 inch diameter, or down to as low as 1 inch diameter and larger. It includes a roaming SIM card, and it's 2G and 4G, so it will work in most countries, and it's also independent, so it's always looking for the strongest signal wherever you deploy that device. It's not, it's completely carrier agnostic. It will just be looking for the strongest signal. It comes with a 30-meter cable as standard, but we can obviously cut that down. You tell us what you need, and we'll solder the connector at the length that you need it to be, but it starts at 30 and anything within that. It can have a 50-meter cable and everything between 50 and 30 to be cut down to if required, at a slightly additional charge if required. If your well happens to be even deeper than that, we can do it, but it would of course need to be unvented. So we can talk about that talk specifics as and when they come up. It's simple and easy to use data web portal, the vanwaltCONNECT-LITE, and I will show you that very briefly in a second as well. The CTD version available to include conductivity, and it's available to both purchase or rent under the Logger for Life program that we run here at Walt Ltd, which means for a minimum of 1 month, you can have that on for a duration of a project, and then it's finished and you return it. You don't even have the issue of ownership. Who owns it? You or the customer, or it's just literally sorted. It gets hot swapped whenever there's any issues. You're completely supported, so it is available to rent. Or, of course, you just purchase it and you can be redeploying it and things like that. Either is available. Let's have a look at the star of the show. And I'm going to now just slightly change it so that we take focus here, because I want to show you. So here we go. As I said, there's the device. Here, obviously, I've got a very short cable for this demonstration purpose, but I've got the sensor here on the cable and I have my connector. Now, hopefully you're going to be able to just about see this. You see the white line on the bottom there, just here, just there. And we have a white arrow on the connector. So all I do is I feed the vent up into the hole. He says, I can't aim very well. Line up the arrow with the white line, push it on, turn. That's now locked. What you will see is that the device, it's now going to go through its boot up process, and it's flashing a green light to tell me that it's going through this process. And I just leave it to do that. It is powering up, getting everything started so we know it's happened. Then it fires up the SIM and it makes connection with whatever it finds as the strongest, and it tells us that that is done. Matter of a minute or two, it will go through this, constantly flashing green. If it's red, then we know there's a problem. And then it will suddenly do a solid green that tells me that has been successful. And then that will go off and it's all a bit more incognito. If there's a problem, it will stay red. So it's all nice and clear to be able to see that. In terms of the device, now while that's still going through it, and we'll see it go solid green in a moment. Here's a well that I've made earlier. As a kid, I always wanted to say that. We now feed this down through. Always get it caught on that bit there. And it sits proud. Let me just raise that up a little bit. It sits proud on the top of this pipe that I happen to have. That's it. I have now just deployed. There we go. The solid green. It's now ready. It's made contact. I've just deployed my telemetered logger. That's it. I don't need to do any more. If I was deploying it on the side because I couldn't have it above, it doesn't need to be 130 mil maximum, probably more like 115 mil once it's sat into it between there, and then the cap on there. So as long as you got that much gap, you're absolutely fine. But you could have it strapped to the side of this if it's a more, not much of a gap there. We could trim pipes down if we need to fit it within your device. The point being is that's it. That's how easy it is. Now, I'm going to share the vanwaltCONNECT-LITE portal. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that up to full screen because that's the most important thing. So I'm going to log in to my device, or my portal, should I say. It then shows me the units that I happen to have, including, as I said before, the site that they happen to be sat on. I'm going to click on my one unit here, and you'll see this is the one that I've actually got set up in here, and we've just suddenly got the date and time that it's just made contact. So it always does that first bit of contact. Ever so simple is that you then see the date and time of the last reading. So every data point, every 15 minutes, the temperature that it's recorded, the pressure that it's recorded at that stage, and the health of your battery and your signal. This is blank because it's not a CTD sensor, but it would be recording the microsiemens level of conductivity. Incidentally, by the way, you can change some of these levels. So if I go to display units, I can have my temperature as Celsius, Fahrenheit, and good old Kelvin as well. In terms of pressure, bar, Pascal, kilopascal, megapascal, pounds per square inch, and the most popular one seems to be centimeter H2O, and you can change the decimal places as well. Same, if I drop down, I can select my different demo units and jump to it. It tells us again which site it's on. I can change which date I want to see. So actually, I want to see the whole of July. So I've jumped back to the 1st, and it will have even more dates there. And I just click download data. That now instantly downloads me a CSV file, and that's it. That is as much as I need to do on this. It is no more complicated. You will have a customer admin login, and you will be able to set up customer logins that can just see what they need to see. So that is vanwaltCONNECT-LITE. That is your portal to be able to see it. Beneficial summary. vanwaltKISS is simple to install. By yourselves, you may choose to have us to do it. Occasionally that happens. And the beauty is that even if that's the case, one person, half a day, that's sufficient. So it keeps the cost down, even if you want to do that. You can also redeploy it. You're reducing your overall costs for everything to do with getting your water level and temperature and possibly conductivity levels from these different sites. It's simple data collection. It's simple to view it. It's simple to download it to your desktop and your mobile devices. With the vanwaltCONNECT-LITE, it is deliberately easy to use. It eliminates the costs of going and getting that data, downloading it, and then doing what you need to do. It enables you to collect environmental data environmentally, if that makes sense. And it helps you overcome access challenges or issues to those boreholes. It gives you improved data transmission, 2G and 4G, and the fact that it's active and independent, always looking for the strongest signal, not tied to one particular carrier. It removes your risks of lost data because you will see that that device is live and well and getting your data every single day. It's simple and targeted pricing. It's not bolt on this, bolt on this, bolt on that. There's no additional fees for a sensor. We don't need a Barrow Scout or anything like that because it's already vented. And we don't have any annual subscriptions to keep it working. It does what it needs to do as it is. It makes telemetry viable to many, many more projects. And that's what we looked at, that there's an awful lot of projects going on there, that this is their requirement. In simple terms, as I said at the beginning, it enables you to give manual groundwater data collection a vanwaltKISS goodbye, and it gives you environmentally friendly collection of environmental data. Please get in touch. Let's have a conversation. Hopefully this has created questions and I'll be delighted to answer them. You can go to vanwalt.com/equipment/vanwaltKISS and you'll find all sorts of information, including at the bottom, you go to resources, there's several videos in there, and you've also got various documents to download to give you all sorts of technical information that goes a lot more specific for you. But drop us a line. My email address is chris@vanwalt.com, and I am specializing in the vanwaltKISS solution, and I'll be able to answer your questions. We can talk about the projects. You can have multiple devices across the site on the same project, etc. Not a problem with the way that it's set up on the vanwaltCONNECT-LITE portal. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to speaking to you in due course. Vanwalt is a bespoke team of individuals in 5 offices across 3 continents who design, source, install, supply, rent, and repair equipment for environmental research. For more than 40 years, we have developed our expertise and experience to bring you best-in-class equipment for soil water and groundwater monitoring and research. Listening to your needs, using our experience and expertise to offer solutions that help you meet your objectives each and every time. Developing the equipment you need to protect the world's resources for future generations. Vanwalt, monitoring your needs.